33, 33, 33, 33, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, 33, follow me, 33, follow me, Church on Sunday 33, 33, 33, 33, 33, follow me, follow me, follow me, 33, Church on Sundays, yeah, 33, yeah. Well, let's see here. The things we're going to talk about today, my friends. You know, we talked about in the past that God uses people to say things, and God speaks through you too. And the power of that, an understanding of that, is going to be more accentuated in your life if you're having that relationship. I can't stress that enough. I really can't. Because, you know, I talked about in the beginning, when you go, in the beginning, there was me. With Church on Sundays 1. I don't know what video it was. I mean, obviously, I don't have everything in front of me. Okay. But I talked about the process of self-realization that you go through and having that relationship with God and working that over a period of time. And what comes to my mind, I just want to tell you this little thing, because there's that communication there. Once you, as you are spending time, and once you are recognizing, once you're being, you've got to show that earnest, desire to be there. You just can't be sitting in there in silence and going, "Oh, Heavenly Father," and no. You got to get out of the way. You got to let the Spirit come up. You got to let the Spirit come up. Be still and know God. Having that relationship with God through meditation and practicing that. And I've talked about in those videos. Please go back and listen. So having that relationship with God, I can't stress more than that. I can't stress it more than that. You must do with that. You know, because the benefits start to open up and realize, and then you start to see God, and he starts to show his sense of humor. And this is what I was going to tell you this little story right here. Because you can talk to God like he's your best friend. And be able to get answers and stuff like that. And sometimes you just need to simply be patient too, because there's no magic wand in any of this. I mean, is there any magic wand with any of your friends? I mean, do they go poof? Is your relationship with your wife, did they go poof? You know, sometimes you got to wait and you got to be patient. Same with God. Nothing else different than that. You know, being patient with God is also having faith too. You know, you got to exercise that faith with him, because he's like us. He's also waiting for that too, because that's part of the deal. You say that's part of the deal, you know, having a relationship with God and having faith. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people don't commit to it, is because you have to have faith in that too. Believing in the unseen, believing in the unseen, believing in the unseen, believing in the unseen. And you can have that relationship with God. And, you know, and here was a time where God showed me a sense of humor. So, and I don't know. I don't think I told this story. Anyways, so I was going through that period of time where I was having, meditating in the morning and at night, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, and got to that point where I was, starting in the beginning, I couldn't sit still for even 10 or 15 minutes, and then working all the way through till I think it was about like 6 weeks later, till like I'm sitting there, I opened my eyes and I looked over at the clock, and I'd been sitting there for an hour and a half, and I was like, whoa, where was I, man? Because there was no way that I'd fallen asleep sitting up like this. I mean, no, and just no. And I felt a certain kind of enrichment in me at that time, but it's kind of hard to explain there too. But so anyway, I want to get to the little story, and you can talk to God like he's your friend, and you can ask for things, and he will deliver, but you can't put the expectation on him that he's going to wave a magic wand for you and poof, and he's just going to fix everything and make everything heaven on earth. It's just not going to be that way. But, there's little things out there that you kind of do it, and you just kind of put it open-ended out there without any expectations. So one night before I go to bed, I said, God, can you just do something to wake me up tomorrow morning? Because, I don't know. I didn't have an alarm. I don't know what it was. I just said, God, just wake me up tomorrow morning. And I just kind of like in that moment had faith in that. So I went to bed that night when I'm laying, oh my gosh. I'm laying there, at the time I lived in a basement at this lady's house, and I was living, and so there was like a window that was above my bed, right? And I had this cat, and his name was Kamir, and he's a big black cat, and I called him Kamir. What a great name for a cat! Oh, he was a great cat too. Loved that cat. But he was a big cat. I mean, he was about, I can't remember. He was about 16, 18 pounds. So he was, I mean, when he used to walk, man, he sauntered, man. I mean, he was like a, what's the heck? Oh, the big black, I can't even think of the name. But anyways, so he sauntered. He was a big old cat, but anyway, so he was about 16, 18 pounds. So anyway, that night before I went to bed, I asked God to do something to wake me up the next morning. And I just kind of open-endedly said that, just kind of went to sleep, went to bed. And so the next morning, I'm laying there in my bed, and I was asleep. And all of a sudden this, I had that window above my bed, right? I had the window above my bed, and cat Kamir, he jumped off. He didn't jump off to the left or to the right. And I was laying there. I mean, he jumped off and he landed right on my stomach. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh. It was like 15, 16, 18 pounds. He jumped off. It was probably had to have been like 3-4 feet, from the bed to the window ledge, right? And he jumped off and he landed on my stomach. And I was like, oh! And I sat up. I'm thinking there, and went through my mind. I mean, it was like such a, oh gosh. God's got a sense of humor, I'll tell you, man, because I'm sitting there, I'm sitting there like that. I'm like, oh my, went through my mind. I asked God to wake me up the next morning. Oh God. Yeah, and that's what happened. So, I mean, that seems like a little trivial little story or whatnot, for, I don't know, any of you that are out there, but I mean, the communication that you can have with God and that relationship that you have with Him can be very intimate and special in its own ways. And you think, whatever you're thinking about that, but, to be that close and to be that intimate and to know that God is there even to do those things, and that He's got a sense of humor, and that you can have a relationship with God like He's your best friend, and you don't have to be in any kind, you don't have to be the Pope, or you don't have to be any special. Oh, just don't even get me started with religion. I'm telling you, man. Oh, just don't. Oh gosh, shouldn't even said that one. But anyway, but you can have that intimate relationship with God, even to ask for those kinds of things. But when you do those kinds of things, you can't have that expectation of God that He's just going to wave His magic wand at your behest. Do you understand? I mean, because there has to be a certain level of faith of letting go there. It's kind of like they call it, throwing out a fleece, and you just kind of do it that way. It isn't going to do you're not going to demand things, and then when He doesn't do it, I asked God and He didn't do it, because the thing that's connected in that particularly is faith. Knowing that God's going to do it. Like, for instance, it's like, God, can you just do something to wake me up tomorrow morning, and just kind of throwing out a fleece and just kind of letting go, not really being on purpose with it. Because I remember the time when I said that, I was like, God, can you just, can you please just do something tomorrow to wake me up? And I just, at that particular moment, I just let it go, because there has to be that, in order for a prayer to be answered, there has to be an element of faith there, okay? And faith is one of those things that's strengthened like a muscle, You got to strengthen faith like a muscle. You got to strengthen faith like a muscle. So there has to be an element of faith there in order for prayers to be answered. Okay, and because if there's no faith there that God's going to deal with, then guess what? When you ain't going to get your prayer answered either, So you can't put a demand on there just because I pray it, God should just wave His magic wand and do it. There has to be a level of faith that's there in order for things to happen. And Church on Sundays 25 talks about that. That was like one of my stories of faith there too. But it's because I had a certain level of faith at that particular time. Not only that, developing the spiritual voice that was in me that spoke so that I could, go to the next video.